I met a gypsy.
Well, I think, yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions around e-bikes. I mean, from everything from, oh, they're cheater bikes to, oh, you don't get a workout to, you can go whatever, 20 miles an hour up any hill, to, these other, I don't know, Surons and these kind of things that people that don't really know what pedal assist or e-bikes are, they kind of classify those into that category. And so I think there's still a lot of education that needs to be done with the general public, with what pedal assist bikes are and what you can get out of them. I mean, whether it's from a recreation standpoint, from a fun standpoint, or from a training standpoint, really, there is a lot of benefits to them. And you can obviously be a bit lazy and ride them and have a lot of fun, or if you want to get a workout, or if you're going to go do a race. Like, I do some of these races and I tell people all the time, I'm like, racing an e-bike is actually harder than racing a regular bike.
For real?
Yeah. It's way harder because, well, the bike is supposed to be a class 1 e-bike. And I don't know if you know what class 1 is, but it's basically, so there's 3 classes of e-bikes, of pedal assist bikes. There's class 1, class 2, and class 3. Class 1 is pedal assist up to 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Class 3 is pedal assist up to 27 miles an hour. And class 2 is pedal assist and or throttle up to 20 miles an hour. So those are kind of the 3 like legal classes of bicycles, e-bikes in the U.S. at least. Some of those numbers I think change in Europe. I know class 1 is a little bit lower. I think they go 20 kilometers an hour.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Surons and Super 73s and some of these other things out there, they're
well, they're kind of like just an electric motorbike.
Yes,
you know.
exactly.
So yeah, I think saying pedal assist is probably better than saying e-bike, because the e-bike's kind of like a blanket category of electric bikes.
Right.
So yeah, I guess you're talking about the pedal assist, like mountain bike versions of it.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, so going back to that and like how difficult they can be to ride if you want them. I mean, there's, again, misconceptions. Class 1 is basically what people race.
Yeah.
UCI even has like a world championship for e-biking now. But they assist you up to 20 miles an hour. That doesn't mean you can ride, up any hill at 20 miles an hour. I guess, coming from the motorcycle world, it'd be like, if you get on a YZ80 and some little, 10-year-old gets on a YZ80, like, he's going to smoke you. Yeah. Just because he can go up the hill at 40 doesn't mean you're going to go up that same hill at 40, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It only has so much power. It's just a little motorcycle, basically, right? And with the e-bike, it's only got so much power.
Well, I think a good way to describe it maybe is like, it's more of a flat ground. It'll assist you on, or like being on flat ground is a better way to feel it, I guess, because you just can't, it's not like it's got enough power to get you to 20 up a hill. It's basically like that's where the pedal assist is going to not work, essentially, right?
Well, it'll work on a hill too, but again, kind of going back to, the motorcycle analogy, is if you're on a YZ80 and you're in 5th gear, like trying to go up a steep hill, like, it's just going to bog out and it's not going to do anything for you, right? Like, you got to be in whatever, 1st gear.
Yeah.
And it's the same on a bike, right? Like, it has power, but it only has so much power, and you really got to be in the right gear to have that power. If you can overpower an e-bike.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a little bit of learning curve if you want to try to get the most out of an e-bike. I love doing technical climbs on my e-bike.
Yeah, they're hard. That's hard. Like, there's a skill just in that.
Yeah. There's a skill in it, and there's like a finesse too of being in the right gear, not putting too much power into your pedal strokes, but obviously being in the right gear, because you want the motor to be helping you and if in your head, like, you might see this super steep section with like
And
maybe
you're
a
just like,
rock,
"Ah."
and you're like, oh fuck, I gotta like get on it to get up that,
Yeah.
because that's how you would do it on a regular, non e-bike. And if you do that on an e-bike, the motor will just cut out because you're overpowering the motor.
Yeah.
So
And so when you get in that race situation, it makes it just as hard / harder than an acoustic bike.
it does, because I mean the bikes are a lot heavier typically, and for if you and I were racing, for me to, if we were climbing a hill, for me to, whatever, I don't know your fitness, but like let's just say we're going up a 10-minute hill, I might be able to put 2 minutes on you on a 10-minute climb, or 3 minutes on you.
Yeah.
Whereas on an e-bike,
Yeah.
whether you're in shape or not, and whether I'm in shape or not, like I'll probably still beat you up the hill, but I'm not going to put 2 or 3 minutes on you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the great equalizer. It brings everybody closer together. So it's really hard to put distance on people. I mean, obviously, like on the downhills, when it gets more technical, that's where
you make
skills.
your time. Yeah. It's true in what you say about that. Like when I first got my dad an e-bike, like years ago, when me and my brother were still doing my brother still does a fair bit of pedaling nowadays. But we got dad a bike, and he's 50 or 60 now, and he could instantly just keep up with all of us on our rides, and we'd just go with all the boys, and they're rides that he would never want to do. And all of a sudden, it's not only that he wanted to do them, it's that he could do them and then keep up with everyone,
Exactly.
And he gets to talk the whole time, and he's just not, his ass isn't hanging out and his tongue's not in the chain. And that, to me, I think is one of like the coolest benefits of it. And then I think as well, it opens up the more adventure lane. Have you been to Derby yet in Tassie?
No.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of photos.
That has to be something that is on your bucket list. You got to go there with Glenn and Hans.
Yeah.
Like, it would be so sick. But they've got this ride called Atlas, and it goes, I can't remember the exact distance. I think at the end of the ride we did 50 Ks basically, but it's a point to point kind of ride. You get shuttled way out, and then you climb up and down these ridge lines, like all through the rainforest. And I mean, it's a few hours. You stop at a pub, you have lunch, and then you do like a big climb and like another, and that you just do as a group. Like, there's not very often you could do a 50K ride with all varying skill levels and speeds, and then actually you stay in a group, and it is like a kind of an adventure type of ride, And I think just that segment of riding, whether it's two wheels or whether it's like motors or bikes or anything, I think that whole adventure segment of riding is just now getting so popular.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing you got to worry about on stuff like that with the pedal assist bike is, your battery life.
Yeah.
Right. When I go do a ride where it's going to be far, or I've never done it before, I'm always like, okay, kind of monitoring my battery, right? Like what level, because like on the Yamaha e-bikes or mountain bikes, we have like 5 or 6 different modes, right? And so they all have like different power assists. The Yamaha has a different tuning on different levels, so like a couple of the levels actually produce the same amount of power, but it's just kind of how that power is delivered.
Huh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I know, like I saw you just riding the Yamaha, out at Glen Helen, right? Like I know they have a full tuning app, for their motorcycles. So, not that there's a lot of tuning you can do on an app with the Yamaha e-bike, but
they're kind of built in the same kind of capacity.
Yeah.
That's sick. What else is there any other, like, are any of the, what's next for e-bikes, do you think? Do you think that, or pedal assist, like, do you think that they'll start doing like clutches or any of that sort of, like, any features when it comes to that? Like, or is it the technology, like, they'll probably keep it just where it's at?
I don't know about clutches, because I don't, because you have to pedal.
Yeah.
So you're kind of, I mean, maybe pedaling is kind of how you clutch a bike a little bit, right? You're kind of monitoring how much force you're putting into it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe we'll get away from gears and go to some sort of transmission.
That'd be cool.
It's been long overdue, but at some point we're gonna have to get rid of a derailleur. And
I know, isn't it crazy how long that thing's been around?
Yeah. But I think, just like with the electric car market and now motorcycle market, the technology with the batteries and the motors is like changing so rapidly, right? Like batteries are heavy.
Yeah.
So Yamaha's real big on efficiency too. Like on our current e-bikes, our battery is still probably on the smaller side compared to a lot of companies and kind of where they're going, but they're real big into the efficiency thing and how they program. Yamaha's the only one that makes a bike, makes the electronics, makes the motor.
Yeah, right.
Everybody else is piecing it together with their own things, right? They don't make a motor, so they're they're getting whatever motor they want and building the bike around that motor.
Yeah.
And then, maybe taking those electronics or maybe building their own electronics or getting that battery,
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.